Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Broad Street Boys. Today, me and Caleb are going to do a full first round of the NFL Draft recap. We're going to start with just a full Eagles little section, starting with their first round pick, and then we're going to go through their other picks later in the draft. And then we're just going to go one by one throughout the draft and give our thoughts on all the picks. Sorry this video didn't come out earlier. We're both busy with finals, so we're trying to fit this in. This should be out before the second round, so we haven't seen the picks yet. But yeah, so let's get started. So the Eagles, somehow, some way, Quinyon Mitchell and Teron Arnold dropped to the Eagles at pick 22. I thought we were going to trade up, but Eagles ended up picking up Quinyon Mitchell from Toledo, the fastest corner I've ever seen. Ran a 4.33 40. Has that shutdown mentality. Not great in press coverage, but Vic Fangio can help with that. And this guy is huge. And
he's a studded man, and isn't that Vic Fangio's whole thing? Man
Vic
coverage.
Fangio is he's a little bit of man, more so zone. But like Howie Roseman hasn't picked a corner in the first round in years. I cannot remember the last guy that they actually picked. So the fact that Howie's actually trying to grab a corner is very, very encouraging to me. I'll say my little thing before you, Caleb, but I wanted Teron Arnold personally. I thought the Alabama experience, obviously with Devontae Smith and other people, obviously shows. And Teron Arnold can just change a game like that. Honestly, happy he went to the Lions though, because I was really hoping he wouldn't go to anyone else like the Cowboys. But at the same time, Mitchell is a stud. Like I was kind of annoyed at first because I was like, this could be a Jalen Reagor type of thing. But I was like, you know what? This guy ran a 4.3. You know, like how bad can he be? And I didn't realize this, but he showed out at the Senior Bowl and he was locking up guys left and right. And a thing that I was concerned about was that Toledo, good, like solid school, but yes, a group of 6 player, like not a Power 5. So that's really my only concern, that and the press coverage thing. But I told this to Caleb off camera, but speed and agility and burst is a thing that you can't really coach. Like you just have it or you don't, right? But then like the whole press coverage and the learning to adapt to like the system, that's more coached, and he will do that. But that's definitely my overall takeaway.
You know, the only thing like kind of worried me was the fact that he's from Toledo, and like you said, like it's not that big of a school. Not a whole lot of people know about it. And I'm interested to see how that carries over into like this upcoming season, because like he's going to be a starter for you guys. He's fast and he's good in coverage, but he's not. He's the guy that like they were saying was undersized, right?
A bit, but at the same time, he plays bigger than he actually is. That's what they always say.
Yeah. So like those are just two things that worry me, is like his size and then also where he came from. But like I think that within a season or two, like he's gonna be up there and one of the more improved players. But yeah, no, like you guys, you needed a cornerback. Like you could easily move him back to safety.
Yeah.
Like I think he's got that versatility.
Right.
And I think it was a good overall pick.
Yeah, I like the more it's funny. I know I just said this, but initially I was not super happy with it. But the more I think about it, I'm like, wait a minute, this is kind of cool. Because if you think about it, it's like, again, initially I thought Jalen Reagor / Zach Wilson, because he wasn't really heard of until the pro day, Senior Bowl. All of a sudden he's top 20 type of thing, you know. But the more like research I do, a lot of people are comparing him to like a Jalen Johnson type of corner from Chicago, which would be fantastic. And obviously he's not going to like compete with Darius Slay for a job. It's more going to be will he play for James Bradbury, which no offense, but offense. I mean, probably won't be that hard.
Well, he's going to.
Like I feel like you pick him here to play over James Bradbury personally, but
yeah, you're not going to get a cornerback in the first round. Just have him sit the first season.
And then I kind of talked myself out of the Zach Wilson thought, because I'm like, BYU, it isn't exactly like a pushover program, you know. Like that's like a good program that he was pretty good at, and then all of a sudden he shot up to number 2. Toledo, no shade to Toledo, but it's nothing compared to like Alabama or any of that. So, but I almost turned it into my head into like more of an encouraging thing that as soon as he did get like the big spotlights of the Senior Bowl, the Pro Day, all of a sudden everybody saw his true skills, which is actually more encouraging
Yep.
than like anything else. And that's kind of how I'm trying to think of it because like Teron Arnold from day one, I would have been like, oh my god, this guy's from Alabama. Like we got the Bama connections now, and then we also have the Georgia. But this is honestly a great pick. And completely other statement. I love seeing Micah Parsons picked because this was Micah Parsons' guy. This was like his favorite defensive player, and Micah was pissed, and I love seeing that man pissed. So.
Well, did you see that Nick Saban tried for getting him to transfer over to Bama before
Which
this
is
past
also
season?
something that's so encouraging to me because I mean obviously
Mm-hmm.
he had a few more years of eligibility, so imagine he did end up playing for Alabama, and imagine like if and I'm not gonna lie, you would agree with this, if Nick Saban sees something in you, then you might be really good. Like you have a shot, you know.
Yeah, well, there's a lot to be optimistic about
Yeah,
initially, but like the more you're not gonna hear this stuff, like, you have to read and really look into it. But like, there's a lot of good
I agree.
signs there. The only thing that I think is a little weird was like when they announced him,
Ugh.
like he
He
looked
looked.
pissed.
I don't know
I,
if pissed is the right word. He looked more focused, if that makes sense.
well, I don't know if it's that or if he thought he was gonna get drafted
I think that's it.
earlier. Like there's a lot of things that I think it could be, but I thought it was
No,
funny that he just looked absolutely
because I thought the same thing.
miserable.
I mean, honestly, he should have. I mean, we're gonna get into the whole general draft in about like 10 minutes. But like the fact that there
Mm-hmm.
was not one defensive player taken until pick 15, I think as a defensive player, I would be like, why does no one want me? Type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Teron Arnold was
Yeah.
supposed to go within pick 9 to pick 19, and then all of a sudden he goes after Mitchell. You know what I mean? Like, and he was rated as the number one cornerback, and Mitchell probably thought he was going to be taken somewhere within the teens, like, and then all of a sudden half the teens were filled up with offensive players. So, like,
Yep.
as a defensive player, I would be pissed. But I thought the same thing until I saw like other stuff. Like he went over to like the Eagles little celebrating like area, and he chanted the EAGLES Eagles chant, and and then he eventually looked really happy. And I've seen a ton of interviews, and he seems happy to be here. Darius Slade tweeted, and he seemed pretty happy. Same with Lane Johnson. So, I mean, there's definitely a lot to be excited for, you know. Um,
Yeah. Plus, like he's going to a
Exactly,
winning
and
program.
a ton of players on this team. Yes, it's been years now, but they've been to the Super Bowl, and they just were at the Super Bowl. Didn't win it, but they were there. So they know what it takes, and I think that goes a long way to helping a new player.
Mm-hmm.
Going along with that, the Eagles have 2 more draft picks in the second round. Um, do you want to go first, Caleb? And I just want to hear who like what positions we should like. Okay,
You go first
okay.
because you have more of an idea
Yeah,
of
so
what you
I'm
guys
I'm
need.
thinking linebacker. Um, Honestly, like if Howie wants to trade up for blanking out his name, but he's from Texas A&M, uh, Edgerrin Cooper. If he wants Edgerrin Cooper, then I'm all for it. Like trade up, I guess. Like go ahead, because
Mm-hmm.
Edgerrin Cooper is exactly what the Eagles need. Like he's first of all, Edgerrin Cooper is huge, like huge, and he's a really good run stopper, which is you see. I mean, we had none of that last year, especially from the linebacker
Yep.
position. I mean, Nicholas Moore would look like a little baby. So like Edgerrin Cooper would be amazing in that category. Um, or if Howie wants to sit back like he kind of did in the first round, and then take Jeremiah Trotter Jr. at one of those 2 picks, that would be great too. He's super athletic, not as good as of a run stopper, but I mean he has the potential to be like a really good like coverage linebacker, a really good Mike, down the road. And like the linebacker position for the Eagles, even in the freaking Super Bowl year, I mean, it's been a problem. I mean, we already have like the family ties with Jeremiah Trotter, like the Philadelphia Eagles legend that his dad is. So this is all really encouraging to me. Um, and how this draft is shaping out is, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, but Jackson Powers Jr. is still there. Or yeah, I think that's how you say his name, but he's one of the best linemen in this draft. And if he's going to still be there in about 20 picks, dude, pick him. Because, I mean, I love me some Lane Johnson, but we've seen what Jeff Stoutland can do with anyone. And Powers is massive. And
I guarantee he goes to Washington because they're going to be looking for the same thing that you
but you
guys
see what I
are for
mean?
this round.
But if Powers does drop, I mean, I take him, and we need someone like that. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, no, because that was I was going to say, like, you guys, like a linebacker and an offensive lineman, like, weren't there tweets going around last night that your first
all of a sudden 30 minutes before the first pick, everyone was saying how he was going to trade up for a tackle. I would have been pissed.
And there was no reason to trade for a tackle. I mean, like only one trade was made, and with the way the draft was going, it was so offensive heavy that you guys could have been at 30 and gotten exactly who you wanted because defense was not needed in the first round.
In the entire first half of the first round. Like, that's shocking.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah. Anything else? I mean, like just linebacker tackle or linebacker line.
Or honestly, double up linebacker because tackling was a huge issue for you guys last year.
I would take it because Jeff Stoutland can make anything with anybody. And I was so against the O lineman thing too, Caleb, because think of our O line right now. Like, I can't really think of anyone drafted in that first round that's on that line, right? I mean, Landon Dickerson's second round pick, Cam Jurgens' second or third round pick, that are now created into these Pro Bowl type of players, which is perfect. Jordan Mailata's seventh round pick. Like, you could just keep going down the line. Lane Johnson stud. So, like, you could just keep going down this line, and it's the same, like, every way. So this is lining up beautifully now for the Eagles because they just.
Yep.
I think Jeff Stoutland just as a coach loves the challenge of molding a player into the perfect offensive lineman, and I mean we see with Kelsey. So
yeah. So. Yep. So would you go offense, defense, or just keep?
I would go offense,
building
defense,
up that defense.
But at the same time, I've kind of learned this more this year, especially because I really thought there was going to be some sort of defensive presence taken within the first 14 picks. So, but I mean, I'm just kind of thinking like take whatever's if you're not going to trade up, just take whatever's there type of thing. I wouldn't necessarily go like best available. Like imagine like a edge is best available. I wouldn't go best available, but like I would go best available in linebacker or a tackle or linebacker or guard. Like that's honestly what I would do. But at the same time, I wouldn't be annoyed if they doubled up, right? I mean, honestly, like that would make a set in that whatever position that they choose. Like that would make a set for years.
Yeah, like if I were you guys, I would double up on defense because like with the O line, like if you guys draft an O lineman, he's probably not going to be touching the field.
Yeah, exactly.
Like till Johnson's out. So like to me, it makes more sense for you guys to go lineman or even just another secondary piece that you can have in for depth.
I don't believe the Eagles have a third round pick either. So this is also why they don't, right? I don't think they do. Yeah, so
that's two second round
also
picks.
Why I think Howie might be a little more aggressive because he knows he's not going to get anything in the third round. But at the same time, that could also be a motive for him to not be aggressive, right? Because to trade up, he'd probably have to trade his other pick as well. So I mean, in Howie, and if I'm Howie Roseman, unless like someone crazy is still available and you love this guy, I would take those two picks and just pick them both, right? I mean, like 2 is greater than 1, like and at least like. I mean, there are some good players still available, but there isn't any like crazy players still available.
No, it's like it's receivers and cornerbacks, especially which you guys really don't need.
Just drafting a cornerback and then signing AJ Brown yesterday.
Yep, and
you see what I mean?
Signing
like
Smith and Brown
wide receivers
within a week.
I mean, and there's so many.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you guys could get a third receiver later in the draft.
I wouldn't mind
there's no
receiver,
need for that.
Like the 4th, 5th, 6th round, right? Like depth is real in the NFL. Like especially like out of all the sports, depth is real in this league. You know what I mean? Like, and the more that you can have at one position, the more you're set for the future, just in case. Okay, let's run down every pick. What do you think? Every pick, Mr. Washington fan himself over there. Let's do it. All right.
Yes,
Pick number
sir.
1, Caleb Williams. I
Yes,
think
sir.
the most scripted pick that you ever pick. I mean, what? I wasn't shocked.
No one was shocked. I mean, he's the best quarterback in the draft. He's one of the best. I think he's the best quarterback
Absolutely.
draft prospect since Joe Burrow. People keep saying like, oh, like there's Trevor Lawrence, but I mean, like, yeah, the hype was there for him, but that's it. Like, he's done okay in the NFL, but Joe Burrow has been
Awesome.
like
Awesome.
when
And I
healthy, he's
completely
been
agree.
a top 6
Caleb
quarterback.
Williams, I mean, like, prospect wise and like me as a GM, right? He's a GM's dream. I mean, like maybe his character or like the way that he talks sometimes is a problem. Yes. But at the same time, wouldn't you rather
his
that than a guy that's just like Mac Jones? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like you're gonna take that, but my worry with Caleb Williams is that it's kind of like the whole thing with Toledo. It's like he was at USC, he didn't play like he played decent teams, so I'm curious to see like how that's all going to carry over because I think he's going to struggle a little bit. I think so. Like he's going to be better than Trevor Lawrence, but I still think that he might be a little.
Let's be completely real here. With the guy with as much hype as Caleb Williams, can you really live up to like being Patrick Mahomes, which is his comparison? Probably not. You know what I mean?
Dude, I mean, you're a quarterback for the Bears. Exactly. Your leading quarterback in passing yards is 5,000. Like, dude's gonna be the best quarterback they've ever had, without a doubt.
Honestly, like the Bears have been so bad for so long, so I'm actually kind of rooting for the Bears. And we'll get to their next pick, but I think the last thing that we could both agree on is Caleb Williams is kind of going into a really nice situation, right? I mean, with all their skill players, I mean, DeAndre Swift is good.
Oh yeah.
Beautifully.
They rebuilt
and it worked.
The team for
you know what I mean? Like,
Williams.
I love the Keenan Allen ad. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love the Keenan Allen ad. Yes, he's like 33, but Keenan's gonna be a great and everyone on this team is so young, and Keenan can be a great mentor, especially for the guy that we're gonna talk about next. So I'll let Caleb. I'll let you go with this pick because this is your team. This is your franchise. This is the best quarterback since RG3, Kirk Cousins. Go ahead.
For the past decade, Washington, both Redskins and the Commanders, have struggled to have a quarterback start consecutive seasons. They've had 7, 8 starting quarterbacks since Kirk Cousins. And now is the time where they got a quarterback who they are hoping is going to be the face of the franchise for them in the next decade. Jaden Daniels, second overall pick in the NFL draft, is going to be.
Anything else? Like, let me hear the rundown. I want to hear it.
I mean, I don't have a whole lot of a rundown because I don't know what to expect. Honestly, like it. Right. I'm a little skeptical because of how he plays, but I mean, he is essentially another version of RG3, which I'm really excited to see. He can throw and he can run, which I think fits Washington's play style perfectly because I mean, yes, it's a new coordinator and all that, but look, Brissett runs more than Sam Howell, and he had a lot more success in the little that he played. Daniels is, I feel like, a really good combination of both of them between the arm. Exactly. And just his vision, his field vision, dude. Like he's going to pass Jalen Hurts. He's going to be the second best quarterback in the conference next year.
Okay, we're that conversation's over. So Jaden Daniels to me, I honestly, I like if you talked to me before the draft, I would have agreed with you. I really thought that Daniels was going to be. That's really.
You were saying. Yeah, you were saying
Drake May's next. I'll explain why I think Drake's a little better. But at the same time, like, as soon as you guys picked up Mariota, I'm like, oh, they're totally picking Jaden Daniels. Right.
And that's what I thought. But at that time, everyone's like, oh, like they're going after Drake May. Like they got rid of Sam Howell so that they could bring in Drake May, and they're won't like because they're friends
Right.
and they don't want. People were like, oh, they just don't want them to compete against each other. So I was kind of like, all right, Mariota running quarterback, they're taking Daniels. And I'm reading all this stuff, and everyone's like, yeah, no, like Drake May is number one, and then within the weeks leading up to the draft, it's JJ McCarthy is Adam Peters' favorite. And then all of a sudden, it's like what minus? Dude, oh my god!
Yeah.
If they pick, when I heard the J, I kind of panicked because I'm like, I swear to God, if you follow up with another J,
yeah, I mean, honestly,
yeah, yep.
Similar to Mitchell, I really talked myself into liking Jaden Daniels. Because I mean, he is light, which is not great for a quarterback. But at the same time, Devontae Smith was light, and then he eventually put on some muscle. And I think Jaden Daniels will do the exact same thing.
Yeah, Daniels is.
Yeah.
Damn. He is 6'4".
Right.
He's about 210 pounds. So he's not far off from Drake May. I mean, obviously, like with the quarterback that he is, if he were to go put on like 15 more pounds, like obviously like the running wouldn't be there. So I don't mind him being super light. He just has to be careful, and I'm hoping that they can work with him on not running straight at linebackers and getting crushed.
There's one, and I think you said it perfectly. His field vision is awesome. Whether that's sitting in the pocket and throwing darts, or even when he's even when he's running, like this guy can run all over your team, and that's not something Washington's had since what RG3 maybe. Like it's been a minute.
RG3.
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't run that much. And like Jaden Daniels truly is a running quarterback, and that's great. And I feel like that's not something you guys have that's not something you guys have had for a minute. So many H's. And that could really open up your team. And I think I actually like the Commanders team right now. I mean obviously you lost a lot with Cam Curl, and we can go on and on about that, but we're gonna stay positive. And like Jaden Daniels really could open up this team to see like what your potential is, and he really could open up what's his name, Terry McLaurin, because he did what Jaden Daniels did do really well was utilize Malik Neighbors and Johnson on the other side. I thought he did a great job utilizing his number one and number two. And Hal did a solid job, but I thought that he could have forced it more to Terry McLaurin because of how good Terry McLaurin is, you know?
Yeah. Well, like the thing with him was
I agree.
The play calling. It was
looking back on it, I kind of feel bad for Sam Howell. He really was thrown into the fire. I mean, your coaching staff was awful.
Yep. No, he was.
Yeah.
He was put in probably the worst situation as a young quarterback looking to make it. I mean, I'm happy that he got traded to Seattle because I think he will eventually start there. But it's and everyone in Washington knows that we failed him, and that if we gave him a chance, that it would have turned out better. Like if we went into the draft and let's say we got Brock Bowers or like we traded down, we got Brock Bowers and we kept Howell, like we would have been good either way. But like I'm happy that we got Daniels, and with 5 more picks coming up within the second and third round, they have a lot to do in terms of building back up for that Washington defense, and then also just
it's good for anyone that needs defense. His defense again was not taken for the first 13, 14 picks. So like all those defensive players that should have went first round are now all being pushed back to the second, third round.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I mean? Like Washington,
your time is a lot
to not just rebuild this team, but to retool this team. You know, and it's time.
And everyone's been saying that this is the most important draft that Washington has had ever because of the point that they're at. New owner, Adam Peters is stepping in. Like there's going to be within the next decade a lot of change, not only to the team but also to just the whole environment.
And like
around
honestly,
Washington
build off what you just said, like with the whole new like GM, owner, coach, like you want to start your franchise off in some sort of positive. And I honestly, I think Jaden Daniels is a great way to do that because this guy's got a great personality and character as well. Like great guy. Teammates seem to love him. And
Yep.
depending on the tools that they grab in the second, third, and fourth round, I think that they could really make some noise in about 2 or 3 years. So, okay, next pick, Drake May, who I think is a little better than Jaden Daniels, picked by the New England Patriots. I think a great fit, honestly. Listen, Caleb, guys got grit. Guys got grit, high motor, first in, first out type of mentality. Goes to North Carolina.
So all right, yeah.
Honestly,
we all know
it's
that.
more of the size
Why
and
do
it's
you think he's
more
better
of the
than
physicality
Daniels?
he plays with. And I feel like New England can really show that off with him. And New England, I mean, they've showed that they can, or that they can try to like develop a quarterback. But I mean, I don't know. I just like the Drake May style of play a little more. And Drake, correct. But I think
realize that he
as a
probably won't start
quarterback
this year, right?
and as a thrower and as a guy that can just make a play out of nothing, I think Drake May is a little better than Jade Daniels. However, I do think it's a 2A, 2B type of thing, if that makes sense. Like I think they're very close. And Drake May to me, like the arm angle that he throws at is very interesting to me. But in a good way. Like it's just unique and it's unique looking, but at the same time, it allows him to make good reads and it allows him to get that ball out really quickly. And that North Carolina offensive line was not good last year, and he made the best of what he could with it. And honestly, I've been being a nerd about the whole first round, but I love his footwork as well. And his footwork is good, but like it could get better almost. And I see a lot of I feel like we're never going to see the floor of Drake May. I think people are only going to see him get better. So that's honestly why. But it's like when I say I think Drake May's a little better than Jane Daniels, I think it's so close to me. Like I think it's honestly so close. Yeah, go ahead. Right.
Yeah, like if Washington got Drake May, like I would have been happy.
Right.
But part of the reason why they didn't want to go after him is because they wanted someone that was more like NFL ready, someone that had more experience.
I think so, something like
that. May is younger. I think he was the youngest quarterback in the draft. Like he's going to be really good, and like long term, he could easily be the best quarterback to come out of that draft, being better than both Williams and Daniels. But he's going to be a project for the Patriots because there's a lot to work on with his mechanics.
That's the problem.
His field vision was not good. A lot of the plays that UNC ran, it was a lot of 1-read, 2-read options where he's looking at one side of the field. So yes, he's got an incredible arm, and when he knows where he's throwing, he's really good. But when you throw him out, like if you were to go start for the New England Patriots this year, where he has to read the whole field, like I just think that he would struggle. So people are really comparing him to like a Jordan Love type player, where he's going to sit probably 1 or 2 years,
I honestly
and
think
then he's going to go out and
Commanders
just
chose Daniels,
do his thing,
just because they don't necessarily have time to like wait. Like they need an NFL ready guy.
Yep. And it's two different play styles too. It's like do you want the guy who has a cannon for an arm, or do you want the guy
honestly
who can throw more of a Lamar Jackson type player?
The greatest idea or like the greatest play style / team for both of these guys to go to. Like the Patriots, they can sit him. Like they can do it. and I love that Drake May is coming in with a brand new coach for the first time in 20-some years. And 2 brand new guys, so then they can mesh ideas and create like almost like a new culture at New England, which is encouraging. Okay, next one, pick 4, Marvin Harrison to the Arizona Cardinals, one of the great and whatever he's saying, the greatest draft prospect at wide receiver since Calvin Johnson. Was an absolute stud last year for Ohio State. Tore up Caleb's Penn State. And listen, this guy is pretty much a glorified DeAndre Hopkins / Larry Fitzgerald. That's kind of how we described him off camera. and obviously DeAndre worked out pretty well for the Cardinals last time. This guy can go up for those 50-50 balls, but at the same time he can grab a slant and bust it for 60 yards. So it's very encouraging. They're saying his player comp is AJ Green. I think he's better. He's gonna be better than AJ Green, but I see it. He's got a similar frame. I get where they're going,
Ooh.
but this pick, honestly, was just to keep Kyler Murray. If they didn't take Marvin Harrison or trade back, then as Kyler Murray, I'd be like, why? You know. So I mean, honestly, great pick for the Cardinals. They really couldn't go wrong. They either picked Marvin Harrison trade back, or they picked Malik Nabers. So go ahead. Right? I mean.
Yeah, no. Like we're just talking like 2A, 2B with Drake May and Jaden Daniels. Neighbors and Harrison is 1A and 1B. Like you could not have gone wrong with either of them. And Marvin Harrison, he is a freak. When it comes to the 50-50 ball, like he's going to come down with it a majority of the time. Like he is big. He's going to grow more in the frame. Like he's only going to get bigger and better, which is scary to think about because, like Kyler Murray, like I really thought that Neighbors would fit more of his play style better, just like because Murray's he's got an arm, but he's not like the biggest dude, and like Neighbors, just like quick with the slant, get the ball, catch, run.
I don't know how anyone's gonna
cover. Marvin Harrison, dude, like he's gonna be hard to cover. And if the Cardinals do the rest of the draft
one of the worst offenses,
they're going to be a scary team offensively.
And they lost Marquise Brown, like to one of the better ones, especially in that division, which is very encouraging. But yeah, I mean, not much to say about Marvin other than one of the greatest draft prospects at wide receiver ever. So there's not much. There's really not much else to say. And he's honestly, like we just said, a great fit for that Cardinals team. Now next is Joe Alt to the Chargers from Notre Dame. I agree. I agree. And
it was a much needed pick. They needed to build that offensive line to protect Herbert.
Because I think Herbert's awesome when he's being protected and when he's healthy. I think he's one of the better quarterbacks in the entire league. I mean, I thought they were going to go Neighbors. I'm not going to lie. I really did, just because they don't have anyone.
That's right. That was the initial thing, because like they're weak on receivers, but it's essentially, do you want Herbert to get hurt and like sacrifice his longevity to have a good receiver, or draft a no lineman so that you have him for a full season?
As the Chargers,
and
why not
you can
grab
draft a
the
receiver
best one
later
available,
in the draft?
who is literally massive? He's 6'9", 321 pounds. What? Like, he is huge. So, I mean, honestly, I think it's a great pick. I think it's a great pick for the Chargers. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't initially, but the more I thought about it,
he's a giant.
Him and Rashawn Slater, great tackles. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Dude.
He's huge.
I saw him like when he stood up.
Honestly, good for the Chargers, because they've just been hurt with injuries and bad luck and all that for all these years. And the fact that Jim Harbaugh's finally committing to their quarterback is actually really good. Next one, I didn't love this because he's in my division and he's so good. Caleb probably felt the exact same way. But Malik Neighbors to the Giants. I think as a Giants fan, I would be so happy that Malik Neighbors fell to me at 6. You know what I mean? Like.
Oh yeah, no. Exactly. One of my friends is a Giants fan. He was thrilled that they got Neighbors.
There's a lot of noise for Giants
that they were
and Drake
May. But,
I mean, I think everyone can agree with this. If this isn't one of the better, like, top heavy draft classes like ever, Malik Neighbors is probably a top 3 or 4 pick. like he is LSU's all-time leader in receptions and receiving yards, knowing that with Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. And he's such a good route runner, especially in the slot, which is exactly what they need. And honestly, Caleb, we kind of talked about this off camera, but I mean, if Daniel Jones fails with Malik Neighbors, like, it might be time.
That's on Daniel Jones. It's from what it sounds like is that the plan is it's a long-term plan where basically they have Neighbors.
Right.
He'll develop,
and
do
honestly,
whatever he can with Jones, but then I think they're waiting for Arch Manning. So yeah, and it's like if Neighbors might not do a whole lot in the next 2 seasons, like he's going to be good. He's going to make like I was saying off camera, he's going to make defensive look. He's going to make defenses and cornerbacks look really stupid.
Oh my god!
But when he
with like a somewhat okay,
when the Giants get another quarterback, he is going to be a top 5 receiver.
And the funny thing is, you're not crazy. He's literally
like
one of the
hot take. Again, I think he's going to be better.
If this wasn't such a good draft class, he'd be a top 3. Like he is so good. And this is the year of the wide receiver, and the fact that he's 2 says a lot about him. Just even though he is 2, like it just says a lot. Okay, moving right along, number 7. Titans picked J.C. Latham. This is when the draft gets a little weird, but honestly, like I didn't initially think this because I thought Fashanu was a little better, but at the same time, Latham is so good, dude. Like Latham, he moves really well for a tackle. This guy will put you on pancakes. He is absolutely huge. He's 6'6", 342. He's a beast. And I very similar to Joe Alt and the Chargers situation. I think you could agree.
He's a monster.
Committing to Will Levis. I think they're trying to show him that he's the guy. Yeah.
Yep. I thought that they were going to go after a quarterback. There was a part of me that thought, like, if they don't do it now, like, I still think they might go after a quarterback. It's like they could give Will Levis a try. I don't know how deep the quarterback class is going to be next year, so why not do it now? Because there are a decent amount of quarterbacks in there.
Fantastic.
But like,
and the Titans are another team actually like the Chargers who have just been injury riddled and absolutely like unlucky with everything recently. So. And this guy honestly also helps Tony Pollard, who they just picked up. He really does help a lot of things, and he is just huge. And Alabama, anyone on Alabama is really just helpful, especially in the first round. Pick 8, Michael Penix to the Falcons. What are we doing? Caleb, you go first. What are we doing?
Yep. The dumbest pick I've ever seen. Dude, it is so bad. You signed Kirk Cousins for 4 years. You threw a hefty amount of money at him. And you're not only picking a quarterback, you're picking an injury-riddled quarterback. He was 24 years old, who, when he does eventually start for the Falcons, he's going to be 28. Most quarterbacks start peaking so quickly at that point. If he gets hit, if he messes up his knee once, he is done.
Right.
And like Kirk Cousins was pissed. If you're a quarterback and you're thinking about your future, like go to Atlanta, you move your whole family down there, and you're thinking about retiring there, and it all seems really nice. And all of a sudden, the team that you're on picks a quarterback with the 8th overall pick, dude. I would be so pissed. Because they had needs for so many other positions, especially like defensive tackles, defensive ends. How about O-line? Yeah, no, go pick a quarterback. And in fact,
honestly, that might be one of the worst picks of all time because
that's got to be one of the worst picks I've ever seen. I don't know what the hell they were thinking.
Like, it's something when like you could bring back Carson Wentz when you pick Jalen Hurts. I mean, obviously it worked out now, but like I think someone on the Pat McAfee show said it, and it actually summed it up perfectly. When was the last time that Kirk Cousins like truly sucked? Like sucked to the point where you couldn't have him on the field? I can't even remember a year. I can't even and it's weird because that's what they're preparing for,
Never. Even
exactly. Yep. And it makes
even when he was in Washington, even though
because
they
you could even
great,
I feel like they could have picked Fashanu from Penn State just to be like, Kirk, you're our guy. We're gonna get people to and no, it's not the sexiest pick ever. No, it's not a skill player, which is what they've done for the past 3 years. But grabbing someone on the line shows this guy that you just drafted or just picked up, who moved his family from where he's been living for the past 4 or 5 years, shows him that yes, you may be getting older, but we could still support you type of thing. And yet they pick Michael Penix and and it actually makes me sad because Michael Penix is awesome. I think we can both agree on that. I really like Michael Penix, but which sucks. And he could have went like I don't know to the
he's
Raiders.
Spend the first
Raiders
couple of years of his career on the bench, which sucks for him.
That would have been interesting. Even, I mean, obviously not the greatest situation,
Dude,
but like the Broncos coming up, like that would have been okay. At least you're starting, you know. I don't like. I feel like
just he's at a point where he could go start at like in any team.
20, 21,
which is why I think
Michael Penix
pick is
has
so
been playing
stupid.
football since the COVID year. Oh, and before that, think about that for a second. Like when he tore his ACL. I mean, yes, I mean, and there's like it's not like Michael Penix is like clean on injuries too. This guy can get hurt. Like he's torn multiple ACLs. So like the fact that you pick this guy thinking he's like 20 and he's 24, like I just feel bad for the guy. Yeah, I don't know, and I feel bad for him even more because there's a lot of bad publicity coming at him, and it's not because of him as a quarterback. It's just because the spot that he was taken at. You know, it's like and pissing off your now not necessarily franchise quarterback, but Kirk Cousins. Like it's not a great look.
That took him.
And it's very, but it must be weird for Kirk because I mean, the Vikings are a very player first organization. I think we can both agree with that.
Mm-mm.
Obviously, probably why Kirk stayed there for so long. I mean, honestly, and then he goes to this and he gets screwed immediately. So it's just interesting.
Yep.
Now.
Well, the other thing is that Kirk knows that none of this is on Penix. It's on the organization not being like, hey, we're thinking about taking a quarterback. I want to know what the thought process was.
Why too, because
and what exactly
honestly,
was.
And just the last thing we'll say about it,
why.
We really could
why
talk
you
about
thought that was a need.
Hour and a half. But like the fact that now there's an owner and a GM like clashing type of thing, like they're not even talking to each other apparently. Like there's you're beginning internal conflict. That's awful for any organization in any business, not even like the sports business. Like why would you? This just doesn't make any sense to me, you know, like none. Okay, we'll leave it at that. One of the worst picks I think ever, and I think it's definitely in the top 5, but whatever. However, the next pick's a really good pick. Rome Odunze to the Bears. What do you think about this one? This is fascinating to me.
Yep. Dude, they're loaded now. Keenan Allen,
Cole Kmet's pretty good still.
DJ Moore, and now this guy. On top of adding DeAndre Swift,
they're gonna be pretty solid. I mean, they're not great on defense,
Cole Kmet, like, dude, like they're
solid.
Offense,
Rome Odunze,
they're good.
Fully could have went before Malik Neighbors, and people were mocking that a lot. And the fact that he, I mean, as a Bears fan, I'm having like the greatest day ever had seeing Rome Odunze drop to me. You know, like, I mean, best case scenario for them, honestly. And this is going to be a great 1-2 duo for a long time. And we saw how good Rome was with a good quarterback. Imagine a great quarterback in Caleb Williams. Jesus Christ. Very encouraging as a Chicago Bears fan.
Caleb Williams.
Exactly.
And with that pick, this is where I find it hard for Caleb Williams to really hit the ground and struggle because of all the talent and the weapons that he has to throw to.
Like he's awesome,
even in the backfield.
I mean, very encouraging as a Chicago Bears fan. Now next, JJ McCarthy. Absolutely nobody. And
the quarterback nobody wanted. JJ McCarthy got carried by his defense. Yes, he won the championship, but why did Minnesota want him so bad? I don't know. He didn't have a great pro day.
Yeah, I don't get why he keeps skyrocketing. I mean, listen, winning is a thing, and winning is a thing that you could definitely track, and he has won a lot. But at the same time, you're in Michigan with one of the best coaches in college football, right? I mean, And that Michigan team was one of the best teams I've seen in a long time, especially on defense. And that defense is dominant. And like not like JJ McCarthy isn't a bad quarterback. He's not bad, but I mean I think number one thing he's definitely not going to be able to get carried by his defense in Minnesota. That defense is subpar and average at most. However, you do have probably the best wide receiver in the whole league, Justin Jefferson, and one of the biggest risers in the whole league, and Jordan Addison. Plus, they just added Aaron Jones as well. Like, as JJ McCarthy and Hawkinson as well. Like he's going into a very ideal situation. It's a very much like, and they'll probably start Darnold if I had to guess for the first few games. What do you think? Maybe. Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. I mean, like I've heard Minnesota.
Yeah,
I think
this
Darnold.
is gonna be one of the very interesting,
but they don't
quarterback competitions. Yeah,
I think McCarthy's gonna be the starter.
I mean, and if Darnold does start and then he's not great, and then they're like, oh, let's just throw JJ.
It's gonna be a quarterback.
I mean, it's a great situation for JJ to be there because he truly can just chuck the ball to Addison or Jettas, and they will literally go up and get it and probably come down with it. But and then that's also a thing. Like it's just a weird the fact that he went up so many boards is just very interesting to me.
Dude, his arm is not great though.
That's what he do.
Well, it's because Jim Harbaugh kept running his mouth about him. And he's the greatest quarterback I've ever had at Michigan. When he said that, that's when his draft stock went up big time, and everyone's like, he could be the second or third overall.
The last thing that we'll say about this,
and then all of a sudden, the Chargers they figure out what they want to do, and no one's saying anything about McCarthy's
stock. But like, if you think about it, that statement, best Michigan quarterback he's ever had. What good Michigan quarterbacks has Harbaugh had? Shea Patterson, Cade McNamara. Bums. But do you see what I mean? Like that statement, yes, is a big statement, but like, does that say much? It's not like Nick Saban saying that, you know, or like Nick Saban saying like, "Oh, this guy's the greatest running back I've ever had." Like, it's not like that. It's like I mean, and if Jim Harbaugh says it's about like one of his best corners or one of his best linebackers, or like something like that, like that's a big statement. Like you're comparing him to so many greats. But then quarterback wise, like it's such a weird statement to me. Do you see what I'm talking about?
There's a part of me where it's like I wonder if he said that
it's
just to
genius, honestly,
create something,
stir
NFL
head coach
teams up,
because it's doing
put his
one
team
of
in
two
position
things.
to get who he wanted.
You're either really helping one of your like really close connections in JJ McCarthy, which it did, or it's pretty much catfishing everybody else to thinking that he's so good, so then they don't pick your guy. Like you're doing one of two things, you know what I mean, or you're doing both. In this scenario, yeah, very interesting scenario for JJ. The next pick, I think, is a great pick for the Jets, and we were talking about this a little bit off camera, but Fashanu from Penn State, a little Penn State love for you, Caleb. This guy's awesome. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been liking this guy. He's huge, 6'6", 312. Holy shit, he's huge. One of the best tackles in the entire draft, probably top 3, top 2. And I don't know. I feel like this is a great pick for them. Not necessarily the sexiest pick as people like to say, but like you're really showing commitment to Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. Right?
Yeah, I like that. Like
Absolutely.
Offensive line,
and he's just
not only will that help Rodgers, that'll help the running game, and you are getting, I think, one of the better offensive linemen in this whole draft for that. Like watching him at Penn State, like he is a monster. Everyone knew that he was going to be the first person from Big State drafted.
Too. I mean, like Mekhi Becton's good, but like
I'm excited for the league
that really helps everybody else in the inside.
He's going to be up there.
I think it's encouraging. Next one, we're going to go back to another quarterback 6 quarterbacks taken, absolutely mind-blowing. But Bo Nix to the Broncos. I think Bo Nix gets a lot of shit. If you know what I mean, which he does. That and I feel like people, and I saw Dan Orlovsky say this, and I liked how he said it. People imagine Bo Nix,
he was the Oregon
as
quarterback.
that super young, super inexperienced Auburn quarterback. Like I feel like I would watch Bo Nix low lights every single day a few years ago. You know what I mean? Like awful picks, all that stuff. But I almost thought he looked like a changed man in Oregon, making the right decision, battling with Michael Penix.
Yeah.
And not having the greatest team around him. Like, let's be real here. Like, Oregon was good. Like, I like Oregon's team, but like, I almost felt like that Washington team was much better than Oregon, and Bo Nix did actually pretty well with what he had. They are in general, and no matter what coach they have. And I mean, I don't love the
Oregon's
pick
really
for the
good
Broncos.
with quarterbacks.
I mean, I thought you could have waited. I do too.
Yep.
I agree. Or the Raiders should have been Penix.
It should have been
like.
I mean, I think it's going to work out. And I think
this is like
but this should have been
Sean Payton ego type of thing. Like Sean Payton needs to have his quarterback type of quarterback.
Either one of them.
And I'm seeing a lot of Drew Brees comparisons, which I don't love because I think he moves better than Drew Brees. But honestly, people are shitting on this pick, Caleb. Even though I mean, all over Twitter, all over TikTok, everyone hates this pick. I don't hate this pick. I don't really get why people hate this pick so much. So is mine. It's really all it is.
Right. My feed is still just trashing the Falcons.
Yeah.
I'll probably see it more tomorrow, but I have not seen anything from what I've seen. People are pretty happy about Bo Nix, like happy that he got picked this high up.
No.
And he's on a team where he's going to start. It's the competition is Bo Nix or Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson does not want to be a starter beat. He does not want to be a failure again. You don't want to have someone who's afraid of failure to go be your starting quarterback.
Right. And Bo Nix is a very
there were weeks last year where the Jets where like he was making incredible throws, but he did not want to be a starter because he did not want to let the team down again.
Okay, next one, at least like we've been saying, probably should have been Michael Penix, but it's Brock Bowers. This one makes little sense to me as well. I don't really get why y'all take defense here, especially because you just took Michael Mayer last draft, right? I think, and I honestly think that's what it was.
It could be one of those things where they're just taking best available.
Like, they have Gardner Minshew. That's it. So
they're in a situation where they need so much.
The Rams have Jimmy.
They still need a quarterback.
It's Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, well,
it's Gardner Minshew, Caleb.
Jimmy.
Gardner Minshew's going to start for the Raiders. Jimmy. It's going to be nuts. I don't get it, but it's hilarious. But honestly, not a whole lot to say. Brock Bowers is probably one of the best tight end. Like,
oh my god, dude!
Since Kyle Pitts.
Oh,
but at the same time, when I say that, they're very opposite type of tight ends. Brock Bowers is one of the best blocking tight ends in all of college football, and probably the best blocking tight end in all of the draft, I would say. And he's special out of the backfield as well, catching even like the little dink and dunk stuff and like the underneath. He could make it a 10-yard, 15-yard gain. He's awesome. I feel like he'd be almost way higher if he played every game for Georgia. He was banged up a little bit. But honestly, I mean, I didn't love the pick, but I didn't hate the pick. Okay. Saints also, they took offensive tackle. I think this is another thing. This guy's awesome, and that line is awful. I think this is a little bit of like helping Carr and Kamara at the same time.
They needed that. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Right.
Yeah, any little bit to help both of those guys is going to make a difference for the team. Now, I would love to see them go and draft another offensive lineman because dude, like
exactly.
Carr, he struggled last year.
I
know some of it was
division
on
that
him.
is
At
so
the same
wide
time,
open, like the South
like
is, you need to
they
defend
blitz
these
so
guys.
much because that O line just could not stop
We're just gonna
anything.
move right along here. The Colts, Liatu Latu, first defensive player taken off the board. I actually like it. Liatu Latu is awesome, in my opinion. What do you think? Good. I think a good ad, honestly. Exactly. They don't need any offense.
Yeah, dude, doesn't mean they're going to be set for offense. Like the offense is coming
honestly,
back.
A great pick for them.
Like
16, Byron Murphy to the
yeah,
Seahawks. I actually like this pick as
they
well.
had 2 breakout receivers.
They definitely needed some help on defense.
Keep building up that defense.
And Byron Murphy, it doesn't get much better than Byron Murphy. So, yeah. Okay. Perfect, because the Rangers come on at 7 and Ty's gonna be loud as fuck.
They're set. Hold on. I have to leave around.
Let's go super fast. Fast. Ready?
I have exam review like 7:15.
Let's do top 20 and then top 20.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Perfect. Okay. So next, Dallas Turner.
Top 20?
Honestly, one of the best edges in the entire draft.
Because everything
should have went top 5.
Everything else after that's just a bunch of shit.
Really great player from Alabama. I mean, edges from Alabama are awesome, just in general. What do you think? I think a great player. The Bengals short of that offensive line. Thank God for Joe Burrow's sake.
Yep, they are.
And again, not going to get much better than a Georgia tackle. So, perfect.
Yeah, dude.
Fantastic. Anyone from that Georgia team with Kirby Smart is fantastic. Right? They're just one of those schools. Jared Verse is also
always reliable
head for the Rams. I don't know how I know why, because no one picked defense.
Georgia,
but great ad for the Rams at 19. I mean,
anywhere.
Guy's a stud from that Florida State team, which was carried by that defense and Jared Verse for the last half of the year. Exactly, and this is an Aaron Donald type of player.
And they need someone to step up and fill in Aaron Donald's shoes. Like
he's ready.
They are missing a huge part of that team. And there's probably going to be
I'm not gonna lie,
pressure on this kid,
probably has one of the craziest mixtapes / highlight reels you'll ever see on the defensive line.
Don't
if you ever get
Aaron
time
Donald,
to watch it,
be yourself.
And then I think the last one that he is so good, and I think the best part about him, he can even play the interior too, and he could just move those offensive.
He's 30.
I mean,
6'4", 254. Dude, he looks old as shit.
The last one that we're gonna do is pick 20. Troy Futanu from Washington. Really, right? Thank you. Really, honestly, one of the bigger pieces why Michael Penix wasn't on the ground for the entire game of every single game. I think a solid pick for the Steelers, especially because they really shored up that quarterback position. Yeah. What do you think? Right? I mean, exactly. Yeah. Fields.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Like
and then if Fields comes in, he runs, and this guard can be awesome.
Like,
and he's also
Wilson's gonna start
6'4", not huge, but then all of a sudden 317. This guy's just a freaking unit. It's a unit. But yeah, I honestly think a solid pick. But yeah, I think that's just gonna be the last one, and then Mitchell fell. Your Penn State guy went to the Dolphins, which I think is actually a great ad. I like Chop Robinson, so good for him. I think he is too, and that defense needed him. Probably the weirder pick of the entire draft comes in later. Xavier Worthy. It's a little.
He's a little
interesting. The fact that the Bills keep trading down is a little interesting. The fact that they might do it in about 7 minutes is also a little weird.
Xavier Howard.
But yeah, I mean, and the Cowboys for some reason took tackle, so perfect. They got screwed again. Fantastic. And again, I love watching Michael Parsons pissed. So let's go. Got anything else for today? I mean, I think we both got to go. This has been a long one, so. Right.
If you're a Bills fan, you somehow
Yep.
stumble across a podcast that covers strictly.
I
You know
feel the
what I'm
same
going to
way.
say, and Atlanta
No, because
fans,
that's really
and
what
you're
it is. They're
stumbling
just
across
I
a
don't get it.
podcast
I don't know
that's
why you
mostly
wouldn't take
Philly
Xavier Worthy.
sports. I'm
But whatever.
sorry.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry that
I
your
think that's gonna do it. I
organizations
mean,
are run
we were
by a
gonna do
bunch of
Sixers, but this is
dumbasses.
long enough of an episode. We'll probably hit the Sixers later.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking about bringing in someone like Jaden or someone else with the Sixers to help us. Which will be fun if we do it. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching this episode. Hey Caleb, Commanders might be good in a few years. You're getting there. It's coming. Absolutely. Right.
In a few years, dude, I don't know.
Shit's hitting
Today's
the
going to
fan.
dictate a lot about
Someone's dying.
what happens in the future. If they draft right, it could be sooner.
Sell the team again.
If they do one thing wrong, they are.
Everyone's gonna break it again.
It's like Peters
Exactly.
might be gone.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and I'm just hoping to God again.
More
This is
shit's gonna
before
get thrown
the
in FedEx
second round.
Field.
Hopefully this is posted during the second round.
It could be bad, but I mean,
we won't know yet,
they know what
I'm
they're
hoping the
doing.
Eagles go linebacker,
They know what they
defense
need.
or defense
They're
or linebacker.
They're gonna be just fine.
We'll see. Hey, we'll take it. Or two O linemen. We'll take it. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Check us out on all the socials: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Spotify, YouTube. Check us out for all your Philly sports needs. This was not much Philly sports, but I'm happy we did it because why not? Draft season's fun. So thank you all so much for watching, and we will catch you in the next one. Go Sixers on Sunday. Go Sixers.
Yes, Sixers.